So, I'm Michael. I wanted to talk about a book I like. It's called The Evolution of Cooperation, and how I think it's related to agile development and agile transition in corporations. I work for Tricentis. We build and ship a test automation and test management application, and we struggle to get the agile transition throughout the whole, down throughout the whole organization. The book really is about the prisoner's dilemma. You might have heard about that. It's a game that game theorists use to talk about their theories, basically. So there are two criminals, two friends that get busted, and the prosecutor, eager to lock them up, offers them a deal separately without them having a chance to talk to each other. So basically, both of them have two options. They can choose to cooperate with each other, or they can choose to betray their friend. And based on their actions, there are three different scenarios, basically. If they cooperate, if they stay silent, if they don't confess, both of them get locked up for a year. If they both confess, if they both betray their friends, both get locked up for 2 years. And now it gets interesting with the other two scenarios. If one talks and one doesn't, one goes free and the other one is fucked. I also lived in the US, and I learned yesterday I can't use that word. So how do you decide? When I first saw the problem, intuitively, I would say I would cooperate, right? I would imagine my friend knows that I know that he knows that I know that if we cooperate, it's the best overall result. Well, from a game theory point of view, actually, betraying your friend is the best option every individual could choose. It's called the Nash Equilibrium after John Nash, and there's this movie, A Beautiful Mind, about this man. So what did Robert Axelrod, the author of the book, actually do? He ran a competition with an iterated version of the prisoner's dilemma, and he asked fellow scientists to send in strategies for that game, basically algorithms, and he let them play against each other. And he found a winner. It's a strategy called tit for tat, which means it cooperates in the first move, and it copies the opponent's behavior with all subsequent moves. Then he summarized his findings, he published them, and he asked for a second competition. And guess what? Tit for tat won again. So Robert Axelrod, put together all his findings, and in his book he talks about the basic requirements that need to be there for for cooperation to arise, to evolve. Okay, that's evolution of cooperation. The game has to be iterative. Cooperation has to be rewarded, and there is always, the future is always impacting the present behavior. And then he took it one step further, and he said, even in a hostile environment with just a little group of individuals playing nicely, cooperating with each other, they will always succeed and be more successful than their opponents playing not nicely. So how does this relate to Agile, in my point of view? Well, cooperation is rewarded in an Agile environment. Individuals and interactions over processes and tools is one of the key principles. And there's always this shadow of the future. You're meeting again and again and again in every sprint. It's an intrinsic feature of Scrum, right? So, a cynical way to look at it, every Scrum process, every Scrum organization is just an iterated prisoner's dilemma game. Yeah? So, with that, we can also apply Robert Axelrod's finding to that. And even in a difficult environment with just a small group of individuals playing nicely with each other, cooperating with each other, they will always have success if the environment, if the processes, if the tools allow that, if they allow cooperation, which Scrum does, which is a very promising way to look into the future. Thank you for your vote, thank you for your attention, and I want feedback, please.